Panel. Anna Marie Cox is back with us today, senior political correspondent for MTV News. Betsy McCaughey is here, a Trump supporter and former New York Lieutenant Governor and senior fellow at the London Center for Policy Research. And Ryan Lizza, he's with us today, CNN political commentator and works for the New Yorker out of Washington, D.C. So welcome to all of you. And I know there's a lot to get through, and I know you were just listening to my last interview and I was watching you ladies out of the corner of my eye. But Anna Marie, let's actually start with the medical records and the doctor and this letter here that, you know, this Mr. Trump's doctor admittedly said was rushed and writing it in a limo.
He felt anxious while he was writing it as well.
What do you make of this?
Well, anxiety while being rushed is not something I look for in a medical professional, particularly. I also worry that someone who is tasked with this important job would put it off to the last minute and write it in a limo. I mean, you know, other people have rehearsed all of the things that are kind of sketchy about this letter. I think that it bothers me that we're even having this discussion about the candidate's health a little bit. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if a candidate's physical health is one of the top priorities for me as a voter. We've had some actually pretty unhealthy presidents that have made some really great decisions. Lincoln was no picture of health. JFK was not either. And we're not maybe talking enough about Americans' health.
So Betsy, why do you think they're focusing on it?
I think it is important. I think that voters want to know that the people they choose to occupy the highest office in the land have the possibility, the potential to serve at least 4 years. What do we know about Mrs. Clinton? She suffered a head injury. She has expressed in her own words that she short-circuits things. Medical professionals have raised issues about post-traumatic stress syndrome because of the head injury. And we see her occasionally needing help, for example, making it up the stairs.
Can we say
that's totally debunked, by the way.
Can we say that these medical professionals that have said these things aren't people who have not examined her, people who are not experts in the field?
That's unsubstantiated.
This is completely unsubstantiated. You cannot say they're medical professionals.
I've seen those photographs. I've seen photographs of her needing help going up the stairs, people grabbing her elbows.
Yeah. She tripped.
But there's nothing wrong with knowing that our candidates are healthy. In fact, when I ran for lieutenant governor, I was required by the party in New York to have a full physical and disclose it to them. To assure the Republican Party in New York State that I was capable of serving for 4 years. And I was decades younger than Mrs. Clinton.
Here's what I'm wondering, Ryan Lizza, let me just ask you this question, because when I immediately also saw that Mr. Trump wanted, he says, you know, I'll give you my detailed medical records, Hillary Clinton, you disclose yours. When we talk about records and disclosures, don't you think that the voters are also going to think of the other two words, tax returns?
Yeah,
would you like me to
she'll probably throw that back.
Okay.
But gosh, I thought that there was a pretty good deal that Trump threw out there. I think that everyone would benefit if the two candidates actually did that, right? So far, Hillary Clinton has released a lot more medical information than Donald Trump has. From Trump, we just have the silly letter from his gastroenterologist. But it's kind of a nice offer that he's throwing out there. I haven't seen the Clinton campaign's response.
We'll look for the response.
But it would be interesting to know more. They're both, they're old. These are candidates who are on the older side. I disagree with Anna Marie a little bit about this. You
want to know how they're doing.
I want to know.
They're going to take the highest office in the land.
Yeah, he's not exactly they're both older candidates, and why not? We should know everything about them that we can if we're going to lend them as much power as the president gets. I will say, Betsy, it's really disappointing to hear you get involved with these conspiracy theories about Hillary Clinton's health from watching clips on YouTube.
No theories, just raising the issue.
I know, but that's like when psychiatrists come on and diagnose Trump as being, mentally unstable without actually having him under their care. I'm assuming you're not a physician, and we should really leave that out of the conversation.
I'm just expressing my view as a voter that we would like the information. I think I'm agreeing with you, Ryan.
Liking the information is one thing, but saying, oh, she needs help going up the stairs, so there's something wrong.
Yeah,
I think that's silly.
We're not. With all due respect, we're not going there.
I do agree with Ryan that this is a great deal that Trump threw out. I wish he would do the same with his tax returns. And I also agree with Ryan that it's just as irresponsible for people to diagnose Trump's health. Although I will say, his doctor did say he tested positive for every test, and there is a psychopath test. So perhaps that's one of the.
You got to play fair.
Might be one of the testing.
I'd like to address the issue of the tax return.
Go for it. Then I want to talk about this big ad buy.
Because all almost all politicians call for tax returns. They almost all pay the top rate in their income bracket because politicians, you look at their income tax return, it's paid speeches and book royalties, usually books about themselves. Whereas people who are in business have a very different kind of tax return. They employ the deductions that Congress has created to encourage people to invest and build. Property tax deductions, investment tax credits, capital gains rates. And for that reason, almost business people pay lower than the maximum rate. And what's going on here is something politicians have rigged. It's called tax shaming. They seem to imply that someone who pays less than the maximum rate.
Are you asserting that you know how much tax rate he pays? Because that would be news.
I'm asserting this. That it is preposterous to suggest that someone who pays more than the law legally requires them to pay is somehow more virtuous. But that is exactly what happened with Mitt Romney. I urge Donald Trump not to release his tax returns because we will spend the rest of this campaign picking it apart.
But we know that this is going to come up. It is September 26th.
I hope
they're
he
standing
doesn't
there
do
at
it.
Hofstra University. Hang on. Ryan Lizza. I mean, how is Mr. Trump, because you know Hillary Clinton is going to bring this up, what do you think will be his response or his new one-liner on why he's not going to do it?
Well, I think Betsy's kind of hit on it there. And the things other Trump surrogates have said, I think Eric Trump actually said they don't want to release it because they don't believe that journalists know enough about taxes to fairly report on it. They don't want to release it because they don't want to create a campaign issue. I mean, I think he's basically decided that whatever is in the tax returns, it will be a bigger political problem for him than just dealing with the fact that he's not being transparent about it. And so he's gotten this far without releasing them. I doubt very much he's going to do it because he's made a strategic decision here that the benefits of keeping them secret outweigh the costs.
Okay, Ryan and Anna Marie and Betsy, thank you. Come back. We'll do more of this. Here we go. It's almost Labor Day. It's almost